So normative theories are those theories which deals with how media should be or expected to be performing under a set of social conditions or social values. Basically, you have the state and the media, and what kind of relationship they have between each other is what the normative theories talk about. Now, these theories were given by Siebert Peterson and Wilbur Schramm in the year 1956 in their book called the Ford Theories of Press or the normative theories. Now, those who are preparing, as I told you, for the competitive exam, remember the names as well as the theory and the year of creation of the theory. Now, normative theories are basically those theories which were part of the Western or the American propaganda against the Soviets or the communists. Now, what happened was that there was a lot of propaganda happening in America. So they believed that to counter these propaganda, we should also launch our own propaganda. So this is how the theories came into existence. They believed that American way of media, which is having a free press, is better than the Soviet Union's theory how on how media should behave in a society. Basically, they boasted their practices as being more democratic and giving equal rights to people, whereas they called the Soviet system as being authoritarian or dictatorial. So this is how America countered the Soviet propaganda or the communist propaganda. So these theories are also in line with those propagandas. The first four theories are basically the authoritarian theory, the libertarian theory, then you have the social responsibility theory, and then you have the Soviet media theory. Apart from that, you have two other theories, which is the development media theory, and the other one is the democratization theory. So in all, there are six theories relating to normative theories. And while I talk about these theories, remember that this theories basically deal with the control and ownership of the media. And while I'm speaking about the media, think about the mass media and the news media. So these two things you remember. So the first theory is basically the authoritarian theory. Now, in the authoritarian theory, the media is expected to be uh, in in line with the authority. Now, the authority has the control over the media, although it's not a direct control, but it has to behave according to the authority, and it should not offend the authority. The first and foremost thing is that it should not offend the authority, and the authority also has media censorship in the sense that the journalist copies or their news stories may be subjected to censorship by the state or the authority. Now here the state is given more privilege than the freedom of expression. So this is the authoritarian theory where the control is mostly in the hands of the authority, and the media should behave according to their dictates. And if they don't behave, obviously there will be repercussions on the media as well. And this is the authoritarian theory. Now moving on to the libertarian theory. Now, unlike the authoritarian theory, this is the opposite of the authoritarian theory. Libertarian theory is the opposite of authoritarian theory. Now here, individuals' rights are given more importance, especially the freedom of expression. So the freedom of expression of an individual is given more priority. The freedom of expression of the press is given more priority than the state. So in the authoritarian theory, said that the state is given more priority over the media. But here what happens is that freedom of speech or expression or freedom of press is given more importance, where people and the press have the equal rights to give their opinions. Now, this also basically is from the West, and it boasts the values of the Western nations. And they criticized Russia or the Soviet Union as being very authoritarian. So is it clear what is authoritarian and libertarian theory? Now here the difference is that you have a free press. Media is not under the direct control of the state, and individuals as well as the press are free to express whatever they want. Now this idea basically is from the marketplace of goods and services, where if we put all the goods and services, the best goods are going to anyway win among the all other goods. Now, this marketplace of goods and services then became marketplace of ideas. Now, what happens here is that the libertarian theory believes that if we put all the ideas in the public domain, the best ideas will come out and stand out among the all the ideas. So this is the philosophy based on that. Now, what happened is that marketplace of ideas basically became a place where the elite or the high class people had control over all the media as well as the the public domain, where because they have had control on the media, uh, these people expressed their own ideas, and this became the dominant idea in the media as well as the press. So libertarian theory is based on this idea that everyone has the equal rights to put their ideas in the public domain, and hence press also has that role to give diverse opinions of the people. And then what happens is that the best ideas come out and they win among the all the ideas. So this is based on the marketplace of goods and services. Later on it became marketplace of ideas. So libertarian theory is based on that. The only criticism is that the marketplace of ideas then came under the hands of few people, and these people then exploited the media for business or their own self-interest. And this is the two authoritarian theory and the this is libertarian theory. Now the other theory is the social responsibility theory. Now this theory basically is based on the Hutchins Commission's report, which said that uh, media systems are now under the control of a particular class. Now this class is the higher class in the society, and media is not giving the space to all other classes in the society. Basically, it is the dominant views of the uh, highest class in the society which is being reflected in the society. So for that, the commission suggested some measures which the media had to take to make it more working towards public interest. Now, the media basically had to set some professional standards in their reporting as well as in their presentation of news. So here they recommended code of ethics. Now, code of ethics are basically some ethical values which you have to follow in a profession. Every profession has a code of ethics, and basically media or journalists should also have such kind of ethics where they have to behave professionally, because this commission was created because there was a lot of sensationalism in the American press, and that's why before the government put any regulation on the media decided that we should self-regulate ourselves. The same kind of self-regulation talk is happening now, where people feel that social media, a lot of bad things are happening on the social media, and you need some kind of check on the social media. And they are also putting the same argument, the people in the social media, that we will self-regulate ourselves and there is no need for government regulation. So social responsibility theory here, what its crux is that media should behave in the interest of all sections of the society. It should maintain high standards, and steps should be taken that there should be no market monopoly. Now, what is market monopoly? As you may know that in markets, few players dominate. And what happens when a few players dominate in the media? Basically, they have the control over the audience as well as the content which the media is disseminating, because few people will have the control over all the content in the media, and then they have the majority business. Small newspapers, small magazines, or small channels, they will run out of business, and that's why they also created some rules to challenge this market monopoly, because you cannot have a media where there is monopoly of thoughts and opinions. So this is what social responsibility theory talked about. And apart from that, the next theory is the Soviet media theory. The Soviet media theory basically is based on the class system which Karl Marx gave. And in this class system, there are two classes of people. One is the ruling class people, and the other is the working class people. Now, ruling class people are those people who have the control over all the means of production, including the media. Now, what are the means of production? Land, labor, and capital. And apart from that, this ruling class people also have the control over the media. Now, the media then disseminates the views of the ruling class, and which they think is not right, because the views of the ruling class are the ruling views. So these views will create some kind of oppression in the society where they will exploit the working class people. Now, this theory believes that media should be under the control of the working class people, because their rights have to be protected, and hence the media should be under the Communist Party. Now, the party has the control over the media, and then the media should behave according to the public and the party or the state. So this is how the Soviet media theory is. Here, press is also prone to censorship. Now, press also has restrictions in the society, and that is where their copies are also gone for censorship, and they have to work for the welfare of the working class people. So this is the crux of the Soviet media theory, where you have two classes of people, and media is expected to work for the working class people so that their rights are highlighted in the media. And the media here is under the control of the Communist Party, as well as the public and the society in turn. So checks are also there in media. This is also a kind of authoritarian system, because here party means the topmost people in the society, and these people will also then put checks on the media. They will also put restrictions on the media, like in the authoritarian theory. So this is Soviet media theory. And then you had another theory, which is the development communication theory. Now, the development communication theory is based on the non-aligned countries. Now, what are non-aligned countries? During those days, you had two major powers. Basically, one is the Russians and the other is the Americans. The people who are not allied to both America and Russia are the non-allied countries. Now, these countries had their own problems, and they believed that these models are not for them. And here, what the role media should be playing in the developing or the non-allied countries is that basically media has to assist the government in the development of that country. Now, there are various things which a country needs, or a country should achieve to become a developed nation. And here, what happens is that media assists the government in poverty, in reducing poverty, in ensuring that there is gender equality. Then all the infrastructure or all the social indicators in the society are good. So media here plays a role where it is assisting or helping the government in its development activities. And that is why the name itself says that development communication theory. Basically, communicating to the people what the major programs or the policies of the government are there to make the standard of living of the people more higher. So this is what development communication theory talks about, where media assists the government or the people who are in power to carry out their development activities. And sometimes what happens is that Now, this also becomes a kind of government propaganda activity where the media is reporting whatever the government is saying or whatever the government is talking to the people. And this is also a kind of control on the media. And media basically has to assist the government in its development activity. And the last theory is the democratization theory. Now, this theory is completely different from all the theories. Now, these theories. This theory is based on the South American scholars like Paulo Freire, where they speak about participatory communication. Now, this is completely different. They criticize the other approaches to development. They criticize the media which as being something which is giving one-way communication, which is only communicating right from the top from the government to the down, which is only giving information in a one-way direction. So they criticize that media should not be doing this, and people know what kind of development they want. So for this, what they think is that you have to give the people the media itself, and that is where they talk about democratization, where people use this media to talk about what problems they are facing, what are the issues they are facing, and through this there is some kind of acknowledgement, and then they realize that these are their problems and they have to work among themselves. If it's a community which is using a radio, they have to work along with the media to conduct the development activity. Unlike the previous model or the previous theory, which talked about giving direct information right from the government to the people at the bottom, which is the top-down approach. Here, the scholars talk about participation among the people, where people produce their own content with the media which they have. So this is democratization theory, where content is created by the people itself. So this is a completely different thing. Participatory communication you will learn in your development communication classes. So this theory, democratization theory, is based on the participatory communication model, where people create their own content, and they create, basically they perform their own development activity because they know what is good or bad for them. And there is no top-down approach of communication. They heavily criticize this top-down approach, where information is coming from one source which is completely out of the community. Here, basically, the community, with the help of the media, decides what is good for them, and they basically implement the development activity. So these are the 6 theories of the normative theories.